Miracle of the Bread. At about age 5, unusual blessings were showered on the family through Gerard's time in church. He began to come home with a loaf of bread under his arms. Now this was a very welcome gift to the family, who never had enough to eat with 5 hungry children, plus a mother and father. So they were happy to see the loaf of bread, but concerned about where it came from. They knew their child would not steal, but his defense when asked where it came from was always the same. When questioned where he got the bread, he would invariably answer, "A most beautiful boy gave it to me." This did not make any sense to the parents, but they didn't know how to further approach the matter. His sister, Elizabeth, was more of a no-nonsense person. She found it hard to accept his explanation. She decided she would get to the bottom of it, and so she followed him to the church one day. She watched him kneeling and praying before a statue of the Blessed Mother and the child Jesus in her arms. As she continued to spy on her brother, an astounding thing happened. An ordinary act became extraordinary. The child Jesus came down from his mother's arms and began to play with little Gerard. Elizabeth thought her heart would burst, when, after a little time passed, the child Jesus gave Gerard a loaf of bread and returned to the loving arms of his mother. When the sister shared with their mother what had happened, she was stunned, but relieved that her child had not stolen the bread. From that time on, however, the entire family looked upon Gerard differently. They paid attention to him when he said he saw and spoke to Our Lady and our Lord Jesus. Miracle of the Key. As God always allows the sweet along with the bitter, one of Gerard's miracles came to pass during his sojourn with the bishop. One day Gerard accidentally dropped a key to the bishop's house into the well. Because the child Jesus had been a friend and benefactor from the time Gerard was a boy, with the simplicity and innocence of a saint, Gerard lowered a statue of the child Jesus in the well. Before the onlookers could begin to make fun of him, to their utter astonishment, Gerard raised the statue of the child Jesus, only now with the key in its hand. But as all things, good or bad, come to an end, the bishop died 3 years later in 1745 and Gerard, now 19 years old, returned to his family's home in Moro, and opened a tailor shop. While the business did well, Gerard was not a businessman. He remained at home and supported his mother and 3 sisters, giving 1/3 of his income to them for their upkeep. He also supported the poor, giving them 1/3 of his income, and the remaining third went for stipends for saying masses for the poor souls in purgatory. So he never had any money, but money had no meaning to him, other than how he could help the poor have masses offered for the souls in purgatory.